In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a project, but first I want to try to explain the importance and the purpose of a project. It's very important that you create a new project every time you create start a new exercise in Inventor, because projects help you stay organized and keep track of all the files that are associated with a certain exercise. And when you first start working with Inventor, you'll just be creating parts. But this is the perfect time to begin learning how to create a project, because later on your exercises will become more and more complex. And Inventor references files to one another. And this is a little hard to explain to a beginner, but let's say you start off by creating a part file in Inventor. Okay, a part file has a .ipt extension, and you'll create several of these initially as you begin your Inventor work. But later on, you'll create detail sheets based on the part files. Okay, in other words, the IDW, which is a detail sheet in Inventor or a layout sheet, looks for the associated part file. Okay, and later on in the course, even you'll create assembly drawings. Okay, an assembly drawing is a collection of part files in Inventor, and the assembly file looks for all the different part files so it can create the assembly. Now, why it's important to create a project? Let's say that you accidentally change a name of a file that you had created previously, and the assembly file starts looking for that file, but it's looking for the old name, not the new name, because it doesn't know that you've changed the name because you didn't create a project. Well, you'll get an error message, okay? And this can happen in several different ways. So it's hard to explain, especially to a beginner, but it's important that you create a new project every time you create a new exercise or start a new exercise in Inventor. And now, before the exercises get very complex, that's the time to learn. So I want to advise you to always create your projects and do all your work on a flash drive. That way, if you're working at home and you don't finish your exercise and you need to finish up in the lab, you'll have your project with you. But it's totally up to you. But I really would suggest that you don't save your projects or work on the lab computers especially. Okay, so let's start and create a new project. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to locate my flash drive, my removable disk, and I'm going to assume, if you're watching this, this is the first time that you've created a project for your class. Okay, so I'm actually, before I'm going to create a project, I want to create a new folder, and I want the folder to be named the name of the course. Okay, for example, DFTG 1105 or DFTG 1113, whatever it happens to be. Okay. So I clicked inside that folder, and I'm just going to leave it alone now. I'm going to minimize this screen, and I want to create a new project. So I click the Projects button, and if this is your first time creating a project, chances are when you open the project dialog box, you'll only see default with a check mark by it. The check mark indicates that that is the current project. Okay, and let's create a new project, and let's just say that this project, it will always be a new single user project, by the way. We'll click Next. And let's say that this project name is Exercise 1.1. Okay. Before I actually type that in here, though, I want to locate the folder for the course. Okay. So I'm going to navigate to the flash drive and click on DFTG 1105 and then OK. All right. So now that I've done that, the exercise name is 1.1. So I'll just type in Exercise 1.1 like you see here. Then I'll drop down to the next folder after I've located it. Okay, this is inside the course folder. I'll put a backslash and then Exercise 1.1. Okay, so what's going to be created is a project file in the DFTG 1105 folder or wherever yours happens to be, and it will create another folder called Exercise 1.1 based on the exercise. Okay, so I'm just going to click Finish, and then it's going to say the project path you entered doesn't exist. Should it be created? And select OK. And then done. So I'm going to go back over to my folder, and here you can see that it created a new folder based on the exercise name, Exercise 1.1, and I'll double click in that, and you'll see a project file inside that folder, which is exactly what we want. And that's the correct way to create a project in Autodesk Inventor.